Hello everyone, my name is Pratik Prasoon and from today we are going to start a series of video which will cover daily 10 MCQs from important news. So here we have the first news about Cyclone Montha. As you can see, Cyclone Montha makes a landfall. So the question here says, which of the following statement are correct? इनमें से कौन सा स्टेटमेंट करेक्ट है साइक्लोन मोंथा के लिए? The first is Cyclone Montha is named by Thailand, which is correct. Cyclone in northern hemisphere rotates in counter-clockwise direction. That is also correct. And India is above equator. So ये northern hemisphere में है जहाँ पे ट्रॉपिकल साइक्लोन जो होते हैं वो काउंटर क्लॉकवाइज में रोटेट करते हैं. क्यों करते हैं? बिकॉज ऑफ कोरियोलिसिस फोर्स. Whereas in the southern hemisphere, the tropical cyclone rotate in clockwise direction. Now, third says these cyclones gain energy from the latent heat of evaporation of water vapor. So ये बात समझने वाला है कि जब तक एक साइक्लोन को लेटेंट हीट ऑफ इवापोरेशन मिलता रहता है, वाटर वेपर मिलता रहता है, तब तक वो साइक्लोन पावरफुल होता जाता है. उसका पावर वहीं से आता है. बट एज सून एज इट विल मेक अ लैंडफॉल, जैसे ही वो लैंडफॉल मेक करता है, लैंड के ऊपर आता है सी से, तब क्या होता है? उसके पास लेटेंट हीट ऑफ इवापोरेशन नहीं मिल पाता है, वेपर नहीं वेपराइज हो पाता है, लैंड होता है वहां पे, इसलिए वो लैंडफॉल कर जाता है, वो डिक्रीज कर जाता है. एंड दैट इज व्हाई द वर्ड लैंडफॉल इज यूज्ड. So what will be correct? Select the correct options. So 1 only, 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, and 1, 2, 3. So the answer would be 1, 2, 3. All are correct. That is, these cyclones gain energy from latent heat of evaporation of water vapor it contains. Now come to second question. It says approximately at least what sea surface temperature is required in Bay of Bengal for cyclone formation. So the cyclone formation, as I told you, happens because the latent heat of evaporation is converted and is captured by cyclone, and also there is low pressure and there is wind movement which cause spiral circulation to happen. Okay. Now the temperature, minimum temperature which is required is 26.5 degrees Celsius in Bay of Bengal. Then only a cyclone can form, otherwise not. Now come to third question, which is also important. Which chemical is used in cloud seeding to do artificial rain? So yesterday only what happened, Delhi had this experiment by IT Kanpur people to conduct artificial rain so that the smog could be controlled. So which chemical is used in that? Silver nitrate, silver iodide, horn silver, or silver chloride? So first of all, silver chloride is our salt. Table salt is called silver chloride. Horn silver will not be the answer. Now come to silver nitrate. What is it? The election ink which we use is actually silver nitrate, mainly silver nitrate. It has been developed by CSIR. Now the answer for this will be silver iodide. Silver iodide particles provide the surface where water vapor can condense and rain might happen after saturation of water vapor. Now come to question number 4. It says which organization under Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation publishes Index of Industrial Promotion. So what is it? Basically, there was a news IIP growth dips to 3-month low at 4% in September. It says it is an index which says how our manufacturing sector is growing. Now in that there are eight core industry which are major of index of industrial promotion. They are coal, crude oil, natural gas, and refinery. And then we have cement, steel, electricity, and fertilizers. So IIP is basically published every month by CSO, Central Statistical Office. Now the proposed new base year for GDP and IIP will be 2022-23, and for CPI, Consumer Price Index, will be the year 2024. It was announced in August, so it is quite important. Now, one more thing which is important is the CSO and NSSO. They were combined together to form something called NSO. Okay, but still today also the IIP is released by a separate, that is under NSO. CSO comes, so that will release IIP. इसलिए CSO is most viable answer here. Now come to this. So there was some news regarding PM Shri, as you can see. It is a centrally sponsored scheme which will upgrade 14,500 schools on the model of National Education Policy 2020. So it is PM Shri scheme. The CPIM has signed a MOU with the center regarding that the conflict happened. Now come to sixth question. It is based upon a news which was Union Cabinet decide to raise fertilizer subsidy for winter crops. So we do have four types of fertilizer mainly. So most fertilizer subsidies are given under which type of fertilizer? Nitrogen fertilizer, phosphorus fertilizer, potassium fertilizer, or sulfur fertilizer. So the maximum is given for nitrogen fertilizer. You might have heard about urea. So that comes under nitrogen fertilizer only. And come to what happens if nitrogen will not be there. The yellowing of the leaf might happen. Okay, so it is responsible for healthy growth or leafy growth of a plant. Now come to question number 7. It is based upon the news relocation of forest dwellers from tiger reserve must be voluntary. That is, there are so many tiger reserve after Project Tiger which came in 1973, and in tiger reserve whether a tribe could live or not live. So in India, if you will see, there are certain tribes who have been the traditional or historic protectors of tigers. So I have given that only which of the forest dwellers tribe are known for protecting tigers. So Chenchu tribe, they live near the border of Telangana and Andhra. They are involved in protecting tigers. The second one is Idu Mishmi. They protect Dibang tigers. Okay, they are found there. They consider Dibang tiger as their guardian, animal, and they will perform the last rite and all. Come to Toda tribe. They live in Nilgiri, and by the way, they are associated with buffalo. They are associated with buffaloes and not tigers. So what should be the answer? 1 and 2 should be the answer. That is Chinchu tribe of Telangana, Andhra, and Idu Mishmi tribe of Arunachal Pradesh. So these are two tribes in India which protect tigers. The eighth question says, dash is a carbon tariff on certain carbon intensive goods imported into European Union. पहला बोलता है GDPR, दूसरा बोलता है BTIA, then CBAT, CTBT. So what are they? GDPR is all about data protection. It is a model which is highly regarded, even some of the Indian companies, they outsource their jobs to India and they also follow GDPR for data protection. It is of Europe or European Union for data protection. BTIA is the name given to FTA with EU. Okay, broad-based trade agreement or something is the name. Now CBAT. The CBAT was given in this news. CBAT stands for Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism. Okay, so it can be mechanism, it can be tariff at time. Okay, so mechanism is more used. So CBA, it is Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism. What it does, it will put non-tariff barrier, not exactly tariff, but non-tariff barrier that those companies who emit more carbon cannot trade with EU. That is the route, which is going to have consequence on many of the Indian companies, especially those who import steel, aluminium, etc. Now, CTBT was way back in 1999. It was quite important because it is a treaty for banning or for regulating the nuclear test. Okay, CTBT stand for Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty. So India has not signed CTBT. Pakistan also didn't sign CTBT. Okay, now come to the COP30. COP30, what is the meaning of COP? Conference of Parties 30 of UN Framework Convention on Climate Change will happen next month at Belém, Brazil. It is going to happen at Belém, Brazil. The next year it might happen in the Pacific Oceans. And some of the examples of Pacific Oceans are Vanuatu, who went to ICJ, International Court of Justice, गया था क्यों? Because of climate change. And there was a landmark judgment of International Court of Justice regarding climate change. You can study about that also. And then Solomon Island. It is also Pacific island which went to ICJ for nuclear testings or ban on nuclear testing. Then New Guinea. New Guinea is a country which is there to the side of Australia and Indonesia. In between Indonesia and Australia, you have that, and it is very, very rich for flora and fauna. Same is true for Brazil rainforest. There you will find very colorful birds. Same is true for New Guinea also. You will find many colorful birds. Now come to another thing which was mentioned in this article about Paris climate deal. So under UNFCCC, that is United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, you had initially Kyoto Protocol coming in. Okay, upon Kyoto Protocol, something called Paris Climate Deal came in the year 2015. उसके अंदर क्या था? There was a provision of NDC, nationally determined contribution. So that is what UN is saying. UN report finds countries' emission reduction short of goals set in Paris. So what was the goal? It was the goal was said that we will take down the rising temperature below a certain limit. Okay. So what was that limit? That limit was 1.5 degree to 2 degrees Celsius limit from the pre-industrial level. Okay. So in that limit, we have to keep the global warming, but that has not happened yet. Okay. We are falling short of that. So let us see what is going to happen in this COP30. Now come to 10th question. Which of the following has caused a significant devastation, particularly in Himalayas? The first option says Glove. Glove is glacial lake outburst flood, then drying up of Indo-Arctic basin, then Karakoram anomaly, coral bleaching. So of course, coral bleaching will not happen. Indo-Arctic basin are drying in Aral Lake, okay, not in Himalayas. Then come to Karakoram anomaly. Yes, it is happening, Trans Himalaya. It is an anomaly where instead of, melting glacier, the melting is not happening in that region. That is the anomaly. Now, most devastation happens because of, many things, avalanche, landslide, cloud burst, lake burst. But here, what has been mentioned is lake burst. Now, what is lake burst and what type of lake burst might happen? So, let us understand. It is called GLOF. GLOF means glacial lake outburst flood. So, होता क्या है कि ग्लेशियर के माउथ पे पानी पिघलता है और पिघल के एक लेक बच जाता है. ओके, यू हैव दिस लेक. ना वो लेक कब तक बचा रहता है? जब तक उसका जो डैम होता है, दैट डैम इज कॉल्ड मोरेन डैम, यानी कि जो डेबरीज यहाँ इकट्ठे होते हैं टंग ऑफ ग्लेशियर पे, उनसे एक छोटा सा डैम बनता है. जब तक वो पावरफुल रहता है, till that time no water will come out from that lake. Now that is not so powerful, moraine dam. So moraine dam might burst whenever some seismic movement will happen, or some the capacity of lake will increase. they might burst. And whenever they will burst, all of a sudden, huge amount of water will flood the valley. And from that only, lot of glacial lake outburst flood happens. That is called flooding, which might result in many other things. Okay, so this is the main reason which is happening, and that is why global warming is a concern. The melting of glaciers are a concern. So what will the answer? The answer will be this. So today we studied 10 questions. Tomorrow we'll study more 10 questions from the Hindu. Okay, so I will stop here only. And if you wish to enroll to our courses for tests, for CMAT, for SSC you can WhatsApp us at 7764869624. So thank you. Thanks for watching.